Hi everyone, welcome to Physician in the Kitchen. I'm your host, Dr. Monique, the plant-based board-certified family physician and founder of the brand Physician in the Kitchen. I help people discover, cook, and eat delicious plant-based foods because my mission is to fix America's health one plate at a time. Today, I'm so glad you've joined me. We are going to make a vegan ceviche. Now, don't blink because you just might miss how easy and fast this recipe comes together. Ceviche is typically made with either raw shellfish or raw fish and a variety of chopped vegetables. But because we're vegan over here or plant-based, we are going to be using some lovely trumpet or oyster mushrooms. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But before we get into all that, be sure to do all the things. Click like, hit subscribe, hit the share button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our plant power content. Okay, so we are going to be making a vegan ceviche. Now, ceviche is a dish you may see at a nice fancy restaurant, but do not let that fool you. It is so easy to make and you can make it in your own kitchen. And because we're making it plant-based, you really can make it your own and add whatever fresh raw vegetables you like. The star of this recipe are these lovely oyster or trumpet mushrooms. Basically, trumpet mushrooms are the larger version of an oyster mushroom. It's all the same. And you can find these either at your local farmers markets or your Asian markets. And they actually are very affordable too. So check them out and give them a try. Now, we are using mushrooms, which typically are cooked, but we are using a trumpet or oyster mushroom, which technically you can eat raw, but we're gonna cook it for just a couple of minutes to take off that kind of metallic taste that sometimes they have. And also it helps to change the texture and make it even a little bit more velvety and more fish-like. So the prep is the key for this one, because again, this comes together so fast that you just wanna have everything ready to dump in a bowl, stir, and serve. All right, enough talking. Let's get to cooking. Today's all-star lineup of ingredients is as follows. Some diced oyster mushrooms, red onion, celery, red and yellow bell pepper, cherry tomatoes diced, jalapeno peppers with or without the seeds, cilantro, and some limes for freshly squeezed lime juice. Okay, ceviche is served raw, as I mentioned, with either raw shellfish or fish, but we are going to cook our mushrooms just a little bit to take the edge off. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got my pot of boiling water that I've added a little bit of salt to, and we're going to just go ahead and put our mushrooms in the water, and we're going to boil them for only about a minute or two, not very long, because we just want to take just the edge off. Technically, you can eat these mushrooms raw, but I prefer not to do that. I always cook my mushrooms, but just for a minute or so, 2 minutes max. And then we're going to shock them in some cold water to stop the cooking process. All right, so now that our mushrooms have cooked for about a couple of minutes, we're gonna go ahead and put them in a nice ice bath. We just wanna stop the cooking process because we don't want the texture to be too soft. Once these have cooled down, we're gonna drain them and add them to our bowl with the rest of our ingredients. Okay, now that I've got my mushrooms drained, we're gonna go ahead and add them to our bowl. A little stray piece of ice there. And then we're gonna literally dump in the rest of these ingredients. So we've got our cherry tomatoes, our bell peppers and celery, some jalapeno pepper, and again, if you want some heat, leave in the seeds. We've got some red onion, and last but certainly not least, cilantro. And then we're going to squeeze some fresh lime juice over everything. So I'm using the juice from one lime. I love this recipe for summertime because we've got these nice succulent, technically fruits in here, but we tend to call them vegetables, but the tomatoes and the peppers naturally have juice in them. So this is a great recipe to cool you down in the summertime and help you hydrate. Not to mention all the vitamin C and fiber that you're getting and all the other antioxidants. And then we literally are just gonna mix this all up. This smells good. The lime is cutting up. It smells good. I could eat a whole bowl of this, but I'm gonna try to control myself till I finish recording but it's hard. The struggle is real. And we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of kosher salt just to bring all those flavors together. And this dish is done. Doctor's orders. While mushrooms are technically fungi, we often consider them to be vegetables and treat them as such. Mushrooms are a superfood because they have many health benefits. They are low in calories, fat, cholesterol, and sodium, and high in fiber, protein, and our dear old friend, antioxidants, which helps protect cells from damage and inflammation and decreases the risk for certain chronic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Mushrooms are also a good source of vitamins and minerals, such as the B vitamins, including folate, niacin, riboflavin, and thiamine. This group of vitamins helps provide energy and form red blood cells. However, mushrooms are not a great source of vitamin B12, except for maybe shiitake mushrooms. Mushrooms also contain vitamin D, which helps maintain and build strong bones, potassium, which helps maintain healthy blood pressure, and the mineral selenium, which helps support the immune system and prevents damage to cells and tissues. Another benefit of mushrooms is that they contain the longevity hormone, a substance called ergothioneine, which fortunately is not destroyed by heat when they're cooked. However, some raw mushrooms do contain a harmful toxin that is destroyed by microwaving for as little as 30 seconds or freezing. So, which mushrooms are okay to eat raw? Well, it depends. Some sources say it is safe to eat oyster, white button, cremini, portobello, and lion's mane mushrooms raw. Conversely, some sources say that shiitake or morel mushrooms should not be eaten raw. Fun fact, did you know that white button mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, and portobello mushrooms are literally the same mushroom, just at different stages of its lifespan? Button mushrooms, or the toddlers, are white. Cremini mushrooms, which can be thought of as the teenager phase, are brown, and portobellos, which are brown and much larger than creminis, are the mature adult form. All that being said, cooking mushrooms brings out their flavor and enhances their meaty texture, and it also helps to kill any bacteria and other harmful pathogens they may contain. It also makes them easier to digest. So, if you decide to eat your mushrooms raw, be aware that side effects from eating raw mushrooms include stomach upset, diarrhea, and rash. And in the worst case scenario, some mushrooms can be fatal when eaten. So it is important to know which shroom you are serving up, especially if you forage for your own. All right, now I wasn't kidding when I said if you blink, you'll miss how quickly this recipe comes together. Because literally, I just dumped it all in a bowl, mixed it up, and now it's time to eat. So I'm eating mine with some blue corn chips or blue tortilla chips. But the aroma is already just jumping out of this bowl. The peppers, I smell the lime, I smell the onion. Let's give it a taste. That right there, perfection. This, as I said, is the perfect dish for a hot summer day because the vegetables are so hydrating. The tomatoes, the peppers, it's just naturally juicy. And yes, that technically tomatoes and peppers are fruit, but you know what I mean. But the mushroom texture, let's just talk about that for a second. It's got the perfect kind of, not rubbery, but it's not smushy or mushy either. It's the perfect texture to carry this dish because you bite into it and you know it's there. So you might want to do yourself a favor and take this to your next cookout. We've got a few more weeks left this summer. Take this with you to the next cookout and bet you will make new friends. So for other plant-based inspired recipes, be sure to grab a copy of my book, Doc Fix My Plate, The Physician in the Kitchen's Prescriptions for Your Healthy Meal Makeover. And be sure, if you like this recipe, click the like button and share it with your friends. Because remember, sharing is caring. And tag me at Physician in the Kitchen if you make this yourself. So until next time, I am Dr. Monique, telling you to keep it 100. Plant-based, that is. Eat well.